Hello everybody, this is Renee from Tub Time Treasures, and it has been quite some time since I have made a soap making video, so I figured I would go ahead and make one today for you. Today I am using Daisy Chain fragrance oil from Brambleberry, and I'm using Shimmer Lemon Pop mica from TKB and Harlequin Green mica from Rustic Essentials. I'm also using titanium dioxide, and I made some really cute soap embeds for the top of the bars. These are my regular cold process recipe. I just shredded a couple of bars and mushed them around in my hands until they were pliable, and then pushed them down into a little mold and popped them out. They'll cure along with the rest of the soaps. So in this bucket, I have all of my oils ready to go. And I've had people ask me about how I color why I add oils to my colorants prior to mixing them into the batter, and how I am able to do that without it affecting the super fat of my soap. Basically, I melt all of my hard oils, my cocoa butter, my shea butter, stuff that is solid at room temperature. And while that's melting, I weigh out my liquid oils, my olive oil, my sunflower oil, things that are liquid at room temperature, and I pre-mix my colorants with a little bit of those oils that are from my actual soap batch, so it does not adjust the super fat of the batch at all. It's just a little bit of that in with the colorant to predisperse it. And I do the same for the micas that I put in oil to use on top of the batch. It's just a little bit, maybe a teaspoon, out of the regular oils, so you're not messing around with your recipe by adding too much oil and then risking it going rancid on you. I've also been asked why I put my colorants in the buckets first instead of putting them in like little containers and then dumping it in. This is for sheer convenience. When I add soap batter to the bucket, when I go to wash the bucket, it's soap. It's just colored soap at that point. I'm not trying to fight with the oil and the mica that's left in the bottom of the bucket, and I'm not wasting anything. Because sometimes if you use like a little plastic or paper container, you pour your colorant in, but then you're throwing away whatever's left in the little container. I like to use it all. So my fragrance is already in my big bucket. I'm just going to mix that up real quick. And my lye water with my silk will go right in with it. Okay, I'm going to mix this up just until it's emulsified. Then I'm going to pour some off into my other containers. Alright, I'm going to add my titanium dioxide to my big bucket. that's all nice and mixed in. And then I'll do the same with my colors. Alright, get my stick blender out of the way here so I can work. And I'm just going to do a drop swirl today, I think. And then I'm going to swirl some mica oil drizzle on top and then top with the embeds. So we'll see how that works out for us. This is a really awesome fragrance oil. It smells kind of similar to something that a big lingerie company had released back in the late 90s. Floral, but not overly floral. It's still sweet. It's just a really nice scent. And so far, this is the first time I've used it. It looks like it's slowing down trace. Everything is still very fluid and easy to work with, which is wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and pour some of this off into the mold. Actually, I'm thinking that this is probably so fluid, we might have to wait a little bit to be able to put the embeds on top. We'll see. So go down with some green. Some yellow. Put some more of the base color. Don't want it to swirl too much. I want these to have nice defined drop lines. Sorry guys, I know I'm quiet. I have not done this in quite some time, and to be honest, I'm not used to talking to myself while I'm trying to do these soaps. But I have told myself that I'm going to try to video more of my soaps just to get into the habit of doing it. So if you bear with me through this part, I will catch my groove soon enough, and then it won't be so weird, awkward, silence stuff. I'm gonna save a little bit for the tops, very little bit, because I'm gonna put the mica oil drizzle on top too, so I don't want too much, but I do want color on top underneath the flowers so that it doesn't look like it's white on white, which is what I'm scared is gonna happen if I add all the rest of this white here on top. So I'm gonna shimmy this down just a little bit, tap it, get rid of some of the air bubbles that are inside. I'm pouring this really close to the surface so that it doesn't sink through, because I want that white background for the colors that I'm going to swirl on the top underneath the flowers. This is a very, very well-behaved fragrance oil. I highly recommend it. It gives a lot of time for swirling. So if you need time, this gives you a lot of time. Okay, clean up my mess here. I'm gonna shake it down, get rid of some of the air bubbles. Drizzle the last of my color on there. Okay, we're gonna tap it down again. It's still super fluid. Take my mica oil mixtures here. And I'm just using a pipette, mix it up. Make sure that I've got some everywhere. And when you mix your mica and oil to drizzle on the top, you want it to be about the consistency of nail polish. It needs to be a little bit thicker so that it stays where you want it to go. Get the lemon color on here. And drizzle the opposite direction of the green, just to make sure it gets a little bit of everywhere. This is the fun part. Swirly, whirly, twirlies. You don't want to swirl it too much because you don't want to mix your colors together. You want the lines to be nice and defined. Tap it down one more time. Okay. And this is why I've marked my mold, because some of these are going to be cut in half when it hits the wire cutter. So I want to make sure that they're in the right spot. These big ones are going to end up cut in half. Oh no! I got soap splatter on one of them. Well, we'll see if that comes off later. Gotta remind myself to pay attention where I'm putting my fingers. And this other big one needs to be cut before I put it on. Okay, now the little ones. They should all go oh no! It's sinking! I'm trying really hard to keep them in the lines. And that is daisy chain. I'll take the camera down and show you what it looks like here in just a quick second. So this is the top. And I'll have to clean up some of the daisies, I think, just because they got mica on them. And I will be back tomorrow to show you what it looks like when it's cut. So we are back the next day to cut daisy chain. And you can see it's kind of mellowed out now that it's not wet anymore, but that mica swirl leaves a nice little shimmer behind. And we're gonna cut this into bars. All right, so we're gonna take and line this up with the cutter. Make sure my little ones aren't gonna get cut. All right, let's see what it looks like inside. Here's that first bar with the drop swirls. And I'm gonna have to clean up some of the daisies. Some of the daisies got some mica on them, but there's the swirl. You guys can see that. I'm really happy with how these turned out. I was really excited for the tops to do what I wanted them to do. And the inside has cooperated as well. Just a nice drop swirl. And then each bar will have a small daisy and half of a big daisy. Has some really cool swirly designs. And that's it. That's daisy chain. If there's anything that you guys would like to see me do, a certain swirl or fragrance or a color or design combination, let me know. Leave a message down below and I will try to accommodate. I'm always looking for different ideas to keep things kind of fresh and to challenge myself. So there you have it. As always, thanks for watching.